Okay, and we are streaming live. Any second now, we should be good to go. I'll let you know once we're live.
It says it's live on mine.
There we go. Well, welcome. Hello, everyone. Karen, how are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. Yes, good, thanks.
Great to hear it. And thank you so much for taking the time to come in and, of course, share your success, which is what this is all about. So, first of all, right from the start, we'll start from the start. If you could let us know, we'll start from the beginning. If you could let us know what you were struggling with before we met.
Oh, I just realised my screen's gone very white. I was struggling with, my weight was increasing, and I'd been dieting since I was 16, so 33 years. And I tried everything really, and then I'd got to a stage where I promised myself I would never diet again. I wouldn't buy another plan. I wouldn't actively try and lose weight in that way again. So I started to try intuitive eating, which did help a lot in the way that I was approaching food, but didn't help me lose weight, and my weight started to increase quite sort of rapidly. And I think my exercise was quite good. I'd been working with a really lovely trainer before, and he sort of got me into consistency and exercising for me rather than for weight loss. So there was sort of a bit of a foundation that I had, but I wasn't losing weight. I didn't feel good in my body. I felt good exercising, but I didn't feel good in my clothes. When I looked in the mirror, I just thought, is this it? I'm approaching 50, and is this just going to get worse and worse, I think.
And what had you tried in the past? You mentioned that you tried various diets. What ones had you tried?
I think it's probably easier to say which ones I hadn't tried, really. I remember like in my 20s, I was working in this in an advertising agency in a high street, and I was walking down the high street and I saw this diet that I hadn't heard before. And then when I looked, it was a pet shop, and it was a diet for a dog. And I just thought, oh my God, like that just showed me how bad it was, that I was just scanning the whole time for something that would work for me, and that I'd actually a dog's diet had caught my eye. So I mean, that shows how much I tried. But I tried the main things were I tried Weight Watchers a couple of times when I was really young, sort of in my early 20s. Then after I had my children, I tried Slimming World, which was really supportive, and I did lose weight there, but I couldn't sustain it. So I hit my goal weight and then almost panicked, and then just went straight back up. So there's sort of elements of diets that worked, but now I see what does work. I realize why it wasn't sustainable then.
I'm with you. And well, in terms of the things that you tried in the past, so how long had you been trying? How many years had you been trying to lose this weight?
33.
33 years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes me feel a bit emotional, actually. Yeah.
And it's difficult to face that sometimes, and oftentimes we also, when we're in it, we're so busy being busy, we don't realize the years coming one after the other. But how often?
I did. I think just before I tried the Sustainable Change program, I felt, even though, like I said, I had the foundation there, and a lot of the time I could be positive. And I remember us talking about that in my first call, like I could be positive about it, and I could think I was going to get there, but there were just cycles of it where I was just in complete, it sounds really dramatic, because it is, like, in one way it's just weight, but actually it I just used to feel despair sometimes, like I'm never going to feel good. Will I ever have an experience of feeling good in my body again, you know?
And how often did you think about it? I mean, how often was it on your mind?
Like I said, it was sort of cycles of it. So there'd be a cycle where something would trigger me. So like in January, I had to go to I went to a 50th birthday, and it was away, we all had to wear dresses, obviously not the men, we all had to dress up, and and then I realized I didn't have a dress that fitted me, because I'd put on weight quite rapidly from the year before. So I tried some dresses, and I did that thing where I think lots of women have dresses of all sizes in their wardrobe, and I kind of kept going up to the high one, and then it didn't fit. So then I had a panic and ordered some, and then they arrived. I was going on the Friday, they arrived on the Thursday. None of them fit that I ordered, so I ended up hairing off to the shopping centre, and I was having to go up a dress size, and I just sat in the changing room, and it sounds really dramatic because I know there's worse problems to have, but I just sat on the floor and I cried, and I just didn't like what I saw in the mirror. I just didn't see it getting any better, and I did find something to wear, and actually by the time I got there I just thought, right, let's just enjoy this moment, and it was all lovely. But I think that planted the seed for me afterwards, that I think it just felt like, this is, if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it. So, but before that would have sent me into a spiral of, I would have been sort of down about it. Then I would find some courage to do something. Then I would either choose a diet or buy a plan, and then I'd start it, and then I'd have enthusiasm, and then the enthusiasm would wane, and then I think this isn't going to work again, and so the cycle continued. And really, that's probably been the cycle for like the last 30 years, is just really wanting to try something, but just not being able to find something that actually meant I could live a normal life and lose weight, or just find a way of eating that then just meant I could carry on with my life without having to be obsessed with what I ate, or if I went out, whether I could have a drink, or if I'd completely blown it by eating something that was off a plan. And it just kept me in that cycle for forever, my whole adult life.
And Karen, first of all, again, thank you for being so honest about that. And I'm sure not the only person who has gone through a similar story. One thing I do want to say to you that's really important, Karen, is I never want you to say, I know it's dramatic. Okay. Never, as twice you've said it. And the reason why is because what that's doing is you're almost apologizing for how you felt, whereas your pain is yours. It's nobody else's. We can't compare like for like. And in the world we live in, I certainly was raised with, there's people starving in Africa, you should be grateful you got a roof over your head. And it almost makes us feel guilty for being unhappy about something that on the scheme of things can appear trivial when it's not, because it impacts everything. It impacts everything how we feel about ourselves. And I can say this because I've been where you were. And I know how much it impacts your quality of life. So I never want you to apologize ever, Karen. I never do. And well, look, what made you feel we could help you?
I think something sort of aligned before. Like I said, the changing room moment. The trainer I had been working with was kind of, he was doing some of the things that helping me do some of the things that I have still been doing. And then I was listening to a podcast, and it was a woman my age who had successfully lost weight, and she was a bit sort of rah-rah. It was a bit motivational, and it just opened my mind that actually, shall I give it one more go and really commit to it? And then you popped up on Facebook. And I watched the video, and in your video that you sent me, it was just all of the things that I'd been starting to try and do. So you talked about eating intuitively. You talked about nobody wants to live their life out of Tupperware. That one got me, because I'd done the Joe Wicks and bought my body weight in Tupperware and then couldn't find anywhere to put it. What else? That you kept saying it was sustainable. It was going to be something that was sustainable for me, and that's what I was looking for. I was looking for something that I learned and I did, and that I wasn't going to come off. It wasn't a diet. It was I know it sounds a bit of a cliche, but it's a way of living. You know, it is something that I was going to learn, and I think that really came across. The things that were said in that video, it just felt like it was meant to be, and it was enough to make me type I'm in, and then have a massive anxiety attack afterwards.
Again, as I said before, nerves are normal. It should be.
Yeah.
Shows that you're not a robot, okay?
Yeah.
But just go back to what you said there. I mean, it almost sounded like you literally were close to giving up trying, because it had been gone for so long. You literally were close to giving up trying. And that is where it can be really dangerous, because if you're on a knife edge of giving up and accepting your weight, then things snowball, because when you have so many other variables that happen as you hit a certain age or as we get older, it just gets harder if we don't address it. And look, anyway, what have you achieved? This is my favorite part. What have you achieved, Cara?
So I just want to say one thing before I say about what I achieved. So I think what I see on the inner circle in the beginning is how nervous people are about signing up. And I was really nervous. Like, I remember when I was giving you my like when I was paying over the phone, I'm just like, oh my God, if this is a scam, I'm an idiot. And, you know, it's a man on Facebook, what the hell am I doing? And that sort of thing. And then when I started, I was really overwhelmed. And actually, I think investing in myself to do this was a really important key, because it meant that I couldn't just skim over it as, you know, oh, that's too hard, I can't do it. I'd committed to it, and it did make me feel a little bit panicky, like, oh my God, there's no way out, I've got to do this. But I think that was a really key moment for me, was I'd invested in myself. And then it was like, right, you're going to do this, and however hard it is, you're going to do it. And actually, it wasn't that hard in the end. And then one of the things that you said to me right in the very beginning just shifted my mindset straight away. And it was, I sent you a message and said, what if this doesn't work for me? And you sent me one back and said, what if it does? And it just made me laugh. And that kind of says a lot. I think that one, that I was having a panic and was able to message you, and one that you messaged me back immediately, and the other that actually you believed in me before I believed in me, and that really helped. It sort of held a space until I could get there, and now, so I have lost 2 stone, and I have lost 12.5 centimeters off my waist. I've lost 11 centimeters off my hips, and I've lost 5.5 centimeters off each leg. So yeah, and I never thought that would be possible.
Karen, that is just incredible. That is just absolutely incredible. And yeah, as you said, it clearly did work, and I'm just so happy for you. I'm just so happy for you, because in life we can often fall back on fear. You know, what if it doesn't work, as you said, but what if it does?
Absolutely. And this side of it, I just want to say, this side of it, like the 2 stone obviously is really important. Like actually, it's not the numbers that feel important now. It really did in the beginning, and it was what I was focused on. And now I almost, like, I had to check what I weighed. I know that we sort of weigh in every we can give our sort of measurements. But the biggest shift for me has been, I just feel so much better, and I look in the mirror and I feel like I just feel younger. I don't have that heaviness, literally, and I don't have the heaviness in my body, and I feel lighter in my mind as well, that it's not sort of preoccupying me anymore. I don't obsess about what I eat. I don't overly think about what I eat. I'm now eating intuitively on the plan, so I'm not following the meals 100%, but I still use a lot of the meals that I've learned across the plan. But it just has what I wanted in the beginning has happened. So that, I mean, I thought about food so much that I would say it was disordered eating, really, and that's gone. And now I've got the energy to focus on other things. Yeah.
Like what? What are you what are you focusing on?
Well, I got myself a new job, so that's and that's, I mean, it's out of my comfort zone as well. So yeah, so that's been taking up quite a lot of space at the moment while I've been doing that and getting used to that. And one of the things I've really noticed is it's quite stressful. And actually in my family, since I started this, we've had a lot of things happen that have been really stressful. And before that would have been my first cue to give up anything for myself, or eating or dieting or something. And what I found is that the exercising and the eating well have been a cornerstone for me managing my stress. So the stress of the new job, I take my food with me, and when I eat my food, I feel like I'm taking care of myself. And because I work in a school as well, so there's always loads of cakes in the staff room. But now my attitude has changed. So it's like I wouldn't eat cake there because it doesn't feel relaxing and it doesn't feel nourishing. It would feel like I was eating out of stress and just because it's there. Whereas now the food that I take feels like it supports me and it's looking after me, so that I've then got the sort of confidence and energy to put myself out there in my new job, because it's a bit scary. But that's really, and through the sort of difficulties with my partner was diagnosed with cancer in June, and he's okay now, and has lost his job, but I kept exercising and I kept feeding us well, and it's amazing just how that really does support you, and that's not something I'd experienced before.
And on that note, Karen, with everything that happened with your partner, and thank God he's going to be okay. But with that happening and with him losing his job, I mean, why did you keep prioritizing yourself? Why did you keep continuing to make sure you put yourself first there? Why was that important?
I think when he was first diagnosed, I think there was sort of a period of time where I was it was lockdown as well, and sort of didn't know what to do with myself. Like I didn't know what to do with that feeling. And he likes to exercise as well. So there was a period where I sort of checked in with him, like, is this okay if I keep doing this, or should we be like running around like, oh? And he's like, no, let's keep doing it. And then the first day that I did the exercises, I noticed that I felt stronger mentally after as well. I felt better in my body. I felt less scared, and it just made me feel stronger for the day. So I made sure that I did it every day, or I did some form of exercise every day. And then I just followed the plan, actually. And I didn't want to think about what we had to eat. So I just, in some ways, the plan, I just went a bit robotic, and it's like the plan says this, I'll cook that. So I didn't have to think about what we were going to eat. It just told me what I was going to eat. So we just ate it. And it just gave a structure to a day that was quite uncertain. Yeah.
I think people often forget that when things are falling down around them, when there's people around them who are struggling, when things go wrong, as they often do in life, the first thing we can often do is we can stop doing things for ourselves. We can put ourselves back third or fourth down the line in terms of priorities. And what's important to remember is, as you said, with the food side of things, how we feel and how we perform in life, in work, in everything is based on our inputs, our psychological inputs, and of course, our physiological inputs with food. So when you have really helpful inputs into your life, psychologically, physiologically, it means that you're better able to handle everything. That makes sense. You're better able to handle everything. And look, what makes it sustainable for you, Karen? What makes you feel that right now everything that you've achieved is long term?
The exercises became a part of just a way of life. So one thing with the exercise, so I started doing the exercises, and then I got into like a really positive cycle. So sort of the opposite of a vicious cycle, really, because I didn't miss an exercise day in the 12 weeks of the Sustainable Change Program. So, and then it got to the stage where it was like, well, I've not missed a day now, so I can't miss a day now, which I know obviously if I did miss a day, it wouldn't be the end of the world either, but it just sort of I got a bit competitive with myself. So that was really nice. And it just felt like I've been really faddy in the past. Like I would start things, stop things. So it just felt really good that it was building on something, and that I could say that I had done this for 12 weeks. And then that's just continued. And then with the food, so I think what really helped with the food, and I was a little bit scared in the beginning because I thought I live with my partner and 2 teenage sons. So, I mean, they eat so much. My fridge door fell off once. That's how many times it's opened. So the plates of food are enormous. So I think I was eating too much as well. So that was a little bit difficult for me in the beginning, sort of reducing my portion sizes. But then the whole sort of 400 calorie meals, that has been really sustainable for me. So now I'm eating intuitively. I know that if I keep to the 400 calories and I do the sort of intuitive this
protein,
I don't want to get it wrong now, like this, this much fat, so this much carbs, and no, that much carbs, that much protein, that dietary fat. So that has been a really good guide. So now for the first time in my life, I'm not writing down what I eat. I'm not using my FitnessPal. Like I can gauge it, and my weight isn't increasing because I'm getting it. I'm off slightly.
And freedom.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, it has been because of lockdown. So I would have gone out for dinner much more, and I've got friends that like a drink and stuff like that. So if I am really honest, it has helped that has been off the agenda a little bit. But I have been out since I've been doing it, and I've had a few weeks where I had like 3 different things in a week, and I was able to sustain it. Which wouldn't have happened before. So yeah.
Yes. And what would you say to anyone, Karen, who's on the fence, not sure, a little bit scared?
Oh my God, like I completely understand how you feel. And for me to do this Facebook Live, when I said to my partner I was doing it this morning, he was like, "You're doing a Facebook Live?" And I did say, if I will do it, because if it does help somebody make the decision to do it, then it's worth it. And I was really, like I said, I was on the verge of giving up. I'm turning 50 in January. For me, the next 10 years I think it's the opportunity to decide how I'm going to age, you know, how active I'm going to be as I age. And I would just recommend anyone to do it and give it a go and commit to it, because there's, I don't know, it sounds a bit cliche, but there's like freedom on the other side of it, you know, and it is really enjoyable. There's nothing you know, it's been really good. And it's not just the exercise and the diet, it's the reading the books, and it's the community, and it's having you that replies to messages really quickly, and having the support calls. It's like the bringing together of everything. It's like you're really held through it, and any moment you wobble, you're just not on your own. And I think that's the difference, really.
Yeah, I'm so proud of the team that they're just giving above and beyond. Was it Francis you were speaking to, or Robin?
I spoke to Adam, and then I've spoken to Claire. Actually, I didn't use the support calls that much. I've only used them twice, but I used them when I needed them, and then it really helped. So
honestly, Karen, this is just all about right now what you've done, what you've achieved from being in that dressing room upset to actually have the courage to come on live right now and share what you've actually achieved. So from the bottom of my heart, I can't thank you enough. I can't thank you enough. Not at all. Look, it's your sweat and your shirt, as they always say. You're the person who's done the work, and the person who's had the courage to make a change. And congrats, Karen. Massive.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time.
You're so welcome.
You're a star. Thanks a million. Massive way. Thank you so much, Karen.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.